again, YouTube! I am Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with Scribblenauts Unlimited. That's the name of this game. I put it in the title of every single commentary, and I say it in every single commentary. Kind of near the beginning, we're starting off with a golem, which we've been starting off with a whole bunch in a lot of creations that I've been doing. Because, obviously, if you've been to my channel lately, there's a huge influx of Five Nights at Freddy's themed type objects, and we do need to get to some other ones. That's not to say that I am done with Five Nights at Freddy's things. You know, we will still create some of those, but they're going to be in their own special episodes, basically. So be looking out for those later, but I'm determining basically which head I'm going to use. I've started off with the tail end of a worm, so you know, if you type in worm and just take the very last piece, and I do think I like that better because I was comparing it to a dot, which you just saw on screen, and I threw it away. I don't think I'm going to use the dot. We're creating something really special, at least I think it is. It's from an epic movie, which I recommend everybody goes and sees. We are creating Baymax from Big Hero 6. Again, it is a completely epic movie. I just saw it last week, so I know that I am a little bit late. Well, compared to some. I mean, I know there might be some people out there who haven't seen it, but are planning on it, so, you know, who knows how late I am, I guess. Anyway, we removed the golem's feet right there, and if you've noticed, of course, where the worm head is, we've also just put 2 dots and painted them black, and that's on either side. And then I used the letter I, so just type in I, and use 2 of those to make the line that goes in between Baymax's eyes. And we removed the little feet of the golem, so take off both feet, and that's all that we're gonna have for his legs right there, is just the thigh that remains. And this is that library of shapes that I always use. You know, you should definitely try and watch to where I'm basically pointing to with the cursor. I know that on the Wii U version it's a little bit harder because there's, you know, obviously if I was playing on PC, you'd see where my arrow was going at all times, but since I'm using the stylus, it's a little bit different. But in that 29-page library of random shapes, there are a bunch of just little arms that we are using for Baymax's fingers. I know it's going to look a little bit strange until we get them all on, but you see they're already coming into fruition here and looking about how I want them to, at least for now. We may make a few adjustments a little bit later, but we moved the arm that's Baymax's left arm. It's to our right. We moved that out so that we could put all of the fingers on it, you know, and they'd actually be in the right place. Very important to put objects where you want them to be, i.e. if you want something on the body or on the head, you know, make sure you're putting it there within that grid. But yes, when we're doing the scripting here in my series, I like to take this opportunity to read some background information and fun facts just for anybody who doesn't know about the characters, and I will try to not spoil anything as best as I can. I mean, honestly, you're rolling the dice when you watch my video, but I'll do my best. So Baymax is a healthcare robot and member of the superhero team called Big Hero 6, and of course, as I said, it's from the movie of the same name. And honestly, for the remainder of fun facts and background information, I think I would rather actually read you this Disney quote about Baymax instead of my own paraphrasing. So this is how Disney explains Baymax. Quote, "Baymax cares. That's what he was designed to do. The plus-sized inflatable robot's job title is technically healthcare companion. With a simple scan, Baymax can detect vital stats and, given a patient's level of pain, can treat nearly any ailment. Conceived and built by Tadashi Hamada, Baymax just might revolutionize the healthcare industry. But to the inventor's kid brother Hiro, that's H-I-R-O, the nurturing, guileless bot turns out to be more than what he was built for. He's a hero and quite possibly Hiro's closest friend." And after some deft reprogramming that includes a rocket fist, super strength, and rocket thrusters that allow him to fly, Baymax becomes one of the Big Hero 6. We're actually, of course, starting off with a mecha for our next object. We are going to basically create another version of Baymax because there is a Baymax 2.0, as that Disney quote was saying. Hiro, that's spelled H-I-R-O, again, you know, that you can pronounce it Hiro, where you roll your R. But for these purposes, I'm just going to say Hiro so that I can say it quickly. Well, as that quote said, you know, they gave him super strength and rocket thrusters and things and a rocket fist, so we're going to be creating that Baymax, which is, I guess, Baymax 2.0 technically. We'll call him Baymax 2 in this because they don't actually have a little period that you can type in here on Scribblenauts. But just kind of one last little fun tidbit is Baymax is actually based loosely off of the Marvel robotic synthformer, also called Baymax. And what's even further more interesting about the Baymaxes is that the Marvel character was also built by someone who lost his parent, just just as Tadashi has in Big Hero 6, the movie. Well, Marvel's Baymax was built by someone named, you guessed it, Hiro, H-I-R-O. And if you've seen Big Hero 6, well, you'll know that there are obvious parallels there, but again, I don't want to give out too much information. So here we are creating Baymax 2.0. We use the tail end of the worm again, just the last piece of worm, and put that down on the feet of the mecha. And Daredevil is the head, and we've of course used 2 dots and painted them black. And right now we're actually taking the thigh part of the T-Rex. So if you just type in T-Rex and just grab the thigh that's to our right, but it would be the left one on the T-Rex because it doesn't have any spots or anything. You don't want, spots to be showing up. We just needed something kind of in that shape that was a solid red color. And I was just thinking, how many of the dinosaurs in Scribblenauts Unlimited kind of have that shape? And so I knew that the T-Rex did, and that's why I used it. We will be using it a bit more in just a bit, but I need to, of course, make sure that everything is proportionally correct and painted correctly. And also, this is annoying me, that star that's on the Daredevil's helmet. So we're just going to go ahead and create the little, I guess, horns or things that are on the helmet, basically, for Baymax 2.0. We just typed in shark and just used his fin that faces us, the frontmost fin that you can grab. And of course, just using a circle and copying that, we can get the circles right there. Those are those purple circles that are on almost the fist, but really on the arm right there of Baymax 2.0. And I need to make this body a little bit fatter, quote unquote. And Baymax is kind of sucking in when he's the 2.0 version. He's not exactly fat or whatever. All that mass is kind of sucked into the armor, but he's still large on the body. So we'll use that same shark fin also for a wing. Baymax does have the power of flight when he's in the 2.0 version, or he's in that suit that Hero makes him. And so I need to make this other arm right here kind of come forward. And while we're doing that, we'll put the other wing back there, because if you didn't do this, then basically the arm would be behind the wing and it wouldn't look real. It's like, because of Scribblenauts Unlimited's kind of 2D aspect to it, that's why we needed to pull this other arm further up, and make it be not behind the wing and not behind the body. To hide it a little bit better, we'll use that same T-Rex thigh that we used for the other parts of his arm, and we'll put that on his shoulders, basically, and make those kind of his shoulder pad armor. And we're just using the hemisphere or half sphere shape that you can get either from the geometry library or just by typing in hemisphere. Put that on his shoulders for the purple right there. I do think we're going to need to add to our Baymax 2.0 creation, but I want to size it up properly and make sure that we don't forget any of the scripting. I mean, how would I forget this? I don't know. We'll make him shoot out for his weapon. He'll just shoot fists. Obviously he has the rocket fist powers and stuff when he becomes Baymax 2.0. You can't really do a rocket fist type thing. I mean, you might be able to find something that looks close to it, but I thought fist would kind of be the best thing to do. And we'll also make it so that his scripting involves when he gets attacked in the 2.0 version, he will become brave. So we have it, when this character loses or gains health, he will gain an adjective, which was brave, and then he will also shoot out a red fist as well. But I didn't actually want to stop there. We're gonna start off with a source object of the detective for our next creation, and this would actually be our last creation that we're gonna do for this particular video. There are a lot more that you can create, so no, I did not forget them. I know that some people are gonna say, hey, you forgot this, but I did not forget them. I chose not to include them, okay? So please mark my words right here. I did not forget them. But in a separate video at some point, we'll probably create the rest of the Big Hero 6, the heroes team, his friends and stuff that all become heroes in the movie. Man, it's getting confusing with his name being Hero and then just trying to say the word hero. So our detective right now, hopefully you noticed we colored it accordingly as you see here. We're creating another character from the movie, and that would be, I'm gonna just call him Mr. Kabuki. If I say anything else, this character is wearing a Kabuki mask and he is a villain of sorts in the movie. And if I really say a whole bunch about him, it will spoil some things. And so I actually spoiled it to my wife when I did research before actually going and seeing the movie, so it was bad news. I don't want to spoil that. But yes, we'll call him Mr. Kabuki because he wears the Kabuki mask. And so, of course, the detective, as I said, was the source object. We just took the T-Rex thigh once again and made that for the head. You want to put one that's black, that's a little bit bigger, and then a little smaller one in the midst of that, which is white. And of course, we used fish, the fins of a fish, for the eyes. So you see those eyes right there are just, you type in fish and just grab that frontmost fin. And again, this is the arms from the general 29-page library shape. Just get anything that's kind of shaped like that you can find in there and put it at the top, the forehead part of the mask. And Ivory is on the left, our left, and Fang is on the right. So that's those little pointy parts that are, down kind of near the nose of this mask. And this this is an eyebrow here that we're placing right now that goes in between the eyes and painted red, of course. I do like how this is turning out. That's pretty cool. I didn't know, I was just kind of like, hey, well, let's put down some shapes and see kind of if we can make it look like the Kabuki mask, but it does. I like that. So that's great. Using the tail piece of a worm once more as the nose. So that nose right there is just the last part of the worm. So now if you type in Shadow, no, we're not talking about Shadow the Hedgehog or anything. That is one of Maxwell's many brothers in this game. So Shadow, we take his leg, and we're going to want the front leg right here. You can see that it's over the coat. It's kind of sticking out. We'll probably make it go behind the coat instead of kind of hanging out like that. So let's move it backwards. Yeah, I think that looks about right. Although we need to put in the other foot or the other leg, I should say, before I kind of make that judgment. There we go. Okay, that's a little better. I shrunk it as well, We're in that sweet spot of sizing it correctly. So as I said, I am not going to spoil anything. I just called him Mr. Kabuki. We're going to make objects react to it as if it was a mad scientist. You could do, some various things. Again, I don't want to spoil things. I almost spoiled something else. Yeah, let's just not talk about that. We're going to have him shoot out an electronic because this particular character actually takes control of Hero's microbots. They're a special breed of some kind of electromagnetic component and stuff, and I think electronic kind of looks close to it, Unfortunately, in this game, Scribblenauts Unlimited, it's funny because I'm telling a lot of the newcomers who don't know a lot about the game, it does have its limits, Stamp space is one of them, meaning the amount of things you can actually put on an object to create it is limited. You don't have an unlimited amount. So sometimes also when people think I forgot something to, add to the creation, it's not the case. I just couldn't do it because the game has its limits. But another limit about the game is that you cannot make objects shoot out custom projectiles. So, if you made a blue shell, which I did, from Mario Kart, I couldn't actually make something shoot out the blue shell that I created. That would be really sweet. I would love, maybe in the next installment of Scribblenauts that Warner Brothers and or Fifth Cell creates, maybe they'll include something like that. But let's have our Baymax 2.0 fight the Mr. Kabuki. Looks like he's doing pretty awesome, and it looks like all the scripting is working. It's working how I would want it to. The reason that we don't have our normal Baymax fighting in here is because normal Baymax does not fight, And by that, I should qualify, he does not fight of his own accord or his own volition. You would have to take out his chip, which does happen in the movie, and, they make him try to go crazy and start destroying things and whatnot at one part of the movie. And so he can learn fighting moves and things like that, but Baymax is a healthcare companion, as we said before, and man, this battle is lasting forever. We've got to speed this up, and I feel like even speeding up the footage is not going to help, because this fight is going to take a long time, but it looks like our Baymax 2.0 would be the winner, so I'll go ahead and just end it here for the fighting. We're also going to put out our Baymax so that I can show you one other thing. I've got a script here. I've got him set up as a container, so he actually has a defibrillator inside. That's not exactly how he works in the movie. He doesn't have a defibrillator necessarily inside of him that comes out, but his arms can become little shock pads for a defibrillator, so he actually kind of serves the purpose of being a defibrillator almost. It's interesting, he's just an all-around healthcare bot. But yes, you can see right here, right there, my Dr.Kendo avatar had a little health heart above his head, because the other script that I have for our regular Baymax is that when you walk by him, if he basically moves near an object, he will heal them. So it just adds an adjective that says healed. So, it was a healed Dr. Kendo at that point. But again, just as some closing remarks, I really think everyone should go see this movie, especially if you liked Wreck-It Ralph. It kind of has that Wreck-It Ralph vibe, being that it was made by a lot of the same people. And I mean, who can argue with Disney? I think that Disney they made a great production, and there's actually some Marvel references, of course, with Disney owning Marvel these days, there's some good Marvel stuff in there. Now, before we end off this video, I'm actually doing something a little bit different here, just again for the ending part. I've actually contacted somebody on YouTube who I think is incredibly talented, and he goes by the name of Milton Cor, that's C-O-R, and you can look up his videos to see some incredible drawings, and so we're actually going to feature his drawings. Again, I did contact him, and we're kind of in partnership for this episode. He's done some incredible drawings of both Baymax and Baymax 2.0, and he's even done Yokai or Mr. Kabuki, our villain here. So as the intro song takes you out, please watch and appreciate his wonderful drawings. And I mean, the color is amazing, the drawings are amazing, everything is incredible. So Milton Cor, you're doing a wonderful job, and thank you so much for working with me as I do my Baymax creations and you do your Baymax drawings. Remember everyone, you can pick up this intro song on iTunes and Amazon now. It's called Spectacle, and it was done by me, just like all of the music on this channel. Anyway, I will catch you guys on the next vid. and thanks for viewing.